from the Entrepreneurship Facilitation Service in Mandurah, well, at least for the next few days. So for those that haven't heard, Skill Strategies won't be providing the Entrepreneurship Facilitation Service as of the 1st of July. So I've invited in Liz and Jackie from, so is it Jackie or Jacqueline?
Jackie's absolutely fine.
Okay, so Jackie from Boss Centre, who I take it have just set up in Mandurah. So I thought really good start point. Liz, could you tell us a little bit about the history of the Boss Centre?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Kynan. So I've personally been working with small businesses as an entrepreneur since about 2005, after I did the corporate thing. Many investment banks, and I got sick of being a mouse on a wheel and wanted to work with smaller businesses. I moved over to Australia about 2014-ish, straight to Perth, where I've got all my family, and then I've been helping small businesses in Perth since then. I set up the Boss Centre as a brand a few years back, and we've been the Entrepreneurship Facilitator Service for Perth North East. And like you, there's been lots of changes across the contracts countrywide, as we both know, and we'll now be servicing the Mandurah region rather than the Perth more metro region, North East. And Jackie's going to be my girl on the ground in Mandurah, and Jackie's been in Mandurah for quite a while. She'll fill you in on that, I'm sure, shortly. Yeah, who's going to be running that with me?
Awesome, cool. So Jackie, how long have you been in Mandurah?
I've been in Mandurah about 4 years now, but I did the West Australian tour of the Pilbara and the Darwins and the remote sites before then. We came to Mandurah with a grand plan, and that was to move onto our boat, leave the shores, sail everywhere it's wet, and never come back. The problem was,
how's that going for you?
It's going really well. So we moved onto a boat about 3.5 years ago with the intention of leaving in the at the Easter of 2020, and the problem with that was someone then closed the world. So we're rejigging all those things, and now, and I was again running small businesses at the time. I've been in business myself, and I've run small businesses since 2004. Again, coming out of corporate land, mining, construction world, and I just absolutely love it. So when Liz goes, "Hey, what do you reckon?" I went, "Yeah, that sounds fantastic." And there's nothing quite like being involved with the development of small businesses. I'm sure, you know, with the work that you guys have been doing as well, it's taking that someone's idea and then going, you know what, that if you do, and what do you reckon? And they go, yeah, and then someone who isn't their immediate family starts to be on board with the idea. Not just mum going, oh, that's great, dear, and the husband going, oh, well, I suppose maybe. Somebody who can help support that dream, and that's why I sort of got involved in that. So I don't think there's anything more awesomer in the world than being involved in helping someone get, you know, boots on the ground as far as small business goes. So yeah,
cool.
It's amazing what happens.
Can you tell me a bit more about your past experience in small business? What sort of things have you run?
Okay, so way back in the starts of time, I'm actually a geologist by trade. So into mining, like all good geologists dutifully go to the remote Pilbara to get our stripes, so to speak. And then what happened is I had the opportunities, and doors kept opening within the mining company I was working for, and you sort of walk through this one and you walk through that one. Before you know it, you're suddenly working in OH&S and not geology. And then I had a really catastrophic 2004, there's no other words for it. And that sort of, I ended up on study leave doing my PhD, and then, you know, since I was in town, since you're not doing anything, can you come and do this? Can you come and run this training? I thought, oh, I get to do all the cool fun bits I like doing without all the rubbish which I don't have to do. There's something in this. So that then turned into an OHS consultancy, which morphed into a specialist hygiene consultancy, mold, water damage. Don't get me started, I can talk for hours. And that sort of kind of, because you need to market so much in that space, that whole, you've got to explain what the issue is, calm the market down, then explain how you can service it. That turns into a really storytelling, at least I think it's a very effective way of doing. So you don't have a chance, you're taking the science and you're teaming it with the marketing, the storytelling, which is my first love, that turns into, how did you get yourself known in that space? Can you help me with that? And it, again, doors open, you go, that sounds like a cool idea. And you just end up walking through door after shiny door after shiny door after shiny door, and gathering all these experiences along the way. And so when you get sort of, I suppose, a little bit older in things, in the journey as I have, it gives you an awesome opportunity to collect all those experiences from all the different spaces. We've also owned restaurants and takeaways and accommodation and an island and all these things.
So you owned an island.
Doesn't everybody? Isn't that sort of one of the things that everybody does? No. Okay, cool. Yeah, we did that too. So we don't own it anymore. But the experiences that you pick up along the way, because you're touching so many small businesses and you're interacting with them. I've been so lucky that it's put me in a position where there's not a lot of industries I haven't had a chance to interact with, and you can bring that together. And I just love creating spaces and platforms and opportunities for people to be heard. And in small business, you are the face of your business, whether you like it or not. We are in sales. There's nothing you can do about that. And I really, really believe that the best way to sort out these whole, clients, famine, feast cycle is to get known. So creating these spaces to do that, for example, in spaces like this, is just brilliant. So I guess you can take all that together. It's a very long way of answering your question, but it does give you a chance to say, well, I suppose I've been through all of the pieces to get to here, and now I've got an opportunity to turn around and go, hey guys, the green fields are over here, let's go, and sort of kind of share some of that experience back in through an awesome program. So. Yep.
So Liz, I better give you an opportunity to tell your story as well.
Yes, so I think the question was, have I run a small business in the past? Yeah, when I was in London before I moved out here, I had a children's shop, which was a retail shop on the high street of the part of London where I was living. And then when I moved out here, I was working in business, helping businesses out, everything from the hands-on stuff to the strategy stuff. But definitely, particularly from the shop, learned a heck of a lot about marketing and negotiating on and staying away from rogue landlords and all that kind of stuff. So learned a lot of lessons with that one. But in terms of like what got me interested in running businesses, I think it came from a really early age. So 16, when I finished school, obviously in the UK, we finished school at 16, and went straight on to do a national diploma in business, European Business Studies, and then went from there on to universities to study European Business Studies. So it just kind of went from there really. And after cutting my teeth in the big multinational banks who've got really high standards, and then going on to working with small businesses since then. So yeah.
Look, that leads me nicely to my next question. Do you guys think you need a qualification to run a business?
I don't think you do. I think the skills that really set people apart it depends on what the business is, but generally speaking, what really sets people apart who are successful versus not successful, it's more their personalities and their personal skills. So things like reliability and their work ethic and their dedication to protecting their reputation and willingness just to get up in the morning and show up and do the right things and get in contact with people and push themselves further and further to keep improving the business. Those kind of skills are far more important than a piece of paper with a diploma on it, for example. I mean, obviously there's a few exceptions to that. So if you're, say, going into counselling, you need to have a particular qualification for that.
Yep.
But those kind of businesses aside, where you do need electricians, etc., but the soft skills are definitely more valuable and more important to a business owner. And as I say, the key ones that I see are the ones who can problem solve and who are resilient, who don't just give up at the drop of a hat, who will look for solutions and ask for advice when they need it. and who are willing to go the extra mile to make sure they're giving a really good product or service. They're the key ones, I would say. I don't know if Jackie's got any more to add to that as well.
Similar to what Liz was saying, I think to run a business, no. Obviously, if you're going to put your shingle out as a doctor or a lawyer or anything which requires qualifications, that's one issue. I think probably the trait that I've seen which makes people successful is people need to get to a point where they realise or truly believe that they actually don't need to do everything themselves and they don't need to know everything. And it's often the people that early on go, help, that fine, seek that help, seek that guidance. And I'm not saying that that's to be every time you get stuck, you go, oh, I need to go and talk to Kynan, I need to go and talk to Liz, I need to go and talk to Jackie and get like a consensus of opinion. But when you do run into a wall, the quicker you can say, access a program like this or the other support services which are around and get the right people in your corner, the more successful that things will be, because you're not trying to solve all things yourself. Particularly find someone who knows or find someone who's been there before, and then take that, but hang it on your framework. And if it doesn't sit well with you, don't do it. You're still going to be true to you, but there's no point in beating yourself against a software program, for example, when you can get someone to help you to teach you how to do it. That would be my
I couldn't agree more. I mean, some of the best entrepreneurs I know are the people who are able to sort of go, cool, this is what I do well. I don't do this so well. I'm going to get someone around me, get those right people around you that can help you in those aspects.
I think you need to understand what's involved. For example, people say, oh, don't do your own books. But I think you need to at least understand what's involved.
Yep.
And then get an expert to do it, because otherwise you leave yourself open to, the whims and fancies of whatever. But so understand the task, but that doesn't mean that you have to do it. It means that, you understand that part of your business. Awesome. Learn how to read P&L. But other than that, bookkeeping's fine. But you know what I mean? Make sure you get the information you need to make the decisions. And sometimes that comes from other people and other experts.
Cool. So what does your ideal entrepreneurship participant look like?
I'll start with this, then I'll hand over to you, Jackie, just because I've been doing this. As I say, we've been the entrepreneurship facilitator in Perth North East for the past 3.5 years. But and really, I would say it's such a broad range of people we've had in from age 16 up to 70 plus. But it comes down to, I think, more that personality type of people who are willing to put themselves out there and listen to advice and go the extra mile and have just got that dedication to wanting to create a successful business. People who come in looking for an easy win, and they might talk to me about things like affiliate marketing or MLMs and things like that, which I don't think actually are bona fide businesses. Those people struggle more because they're unfortunately they've been sucked in by scams. But the people who come in who are willing to just put a bit of effort in and put themselves out there, they're the best people for us to see. They're the people we know we can definitely help, because a lot of the time they just need guidance with some specifics, like what their Facebook page should look like, or what their website should look like, or what's the strategy, that kind of thing. What do you think, Jackie?
I agree mostly.
Okay.
I would add to that is that people who are going to be successful in this space need, and perhaps what you were saying there, is resilience. It's not going to be easy. And so you hear this overnight success, awesome, my God, it's always that it took me 20 years to get here. But you don't see the struggle.
Yeah, the 20-year overnight success. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. You don't see that all the work which has gone behind. But I think it's also, as well as being happy to do the hard yards and happy to take advice, I think it's also people who are able to put a limit on things to a certain extent as well, because you've got to be. One of the awesomeness and the hard things about being in small business or being a small business owner or entrepreneur is that it is you. It's not like you've got a corporate job where someone's paying you to turn up and you go, okay, cool, 4 or 4:30, shut the door. This is no longer my problem. It will play in your brain, and it'll be suddenly 11 o'clock. You're like, oh, that's it. And you've grabbed a piece of paper and you scribble it all down. So you need to be able to be immersed in what you're doing. So because it's important to you. It's more than just a way of getting the next holiday or the toasted sandwiches for a Sunday lunch. It's more than a way of feeding your children. That's a job. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you need, there's something else about it, and you'll do the hard yards. But if you don't work out a way of putting a boundary around it, you're going to get frizzled up in the process. There's got to be a balance. I mean, and you build the business that you want to build, not what everybody else says you should.
Yes.
So it's that ability to define what success looks like to you, to get the help that you need, to do the hard yards, and to work smart, not necessarily harder. So an ability almost to separate yourself from your dream, I think also is probably very beneficial. And those are the guys which are asking for advice and can take that in a space rather than going, oh, I have to do all of the things, lining up, trying to move everything forward all at the one time. You
can't be everything for everyone.
You can't. And yeah, the old adage, isn't it? If you're trying to speak to everybody, you're speaking to no one. So yeah, and to do that, you need just that little bit of separation, I think, as well. So
cool. All right. Now, my next question, no one's going to hold you to this, and I'm sure no one at the department is looking at this as well as I ask this, because I'm sure they're going to get you to do a work plan anyway. But what do your plans look like for the first year?
You didn't tell me we needed a plan. Sorry,
oh, you didn't hear about the work plan?
Oh, no. No, Liz just said, come along. Let's go and do this cool thing. I went, okay, awesome. I'm in.
So what does the first year look like?
Oh, that's me. No, we are actually sitting down next week and doing our work, or the week after doing the work plan. We're just waiting for the template, of course. But yeah, Jackie's already doing it actually. So Jackie, anyway, before I even got in touch with her, was already going out and meeting lots of people in the community and getting known and finding out who the key stakeholders and all the people who can help small businesses to run, and yeah, she's been carrying that on, which has been great. And one of the reasons why I got Jackie on board, I mean, I've known Jackie a few years now anyway, but was because she was already doing the job, and now she could just get paid for it. Because she's already on the board of this and the committee of that, and Jackie's got the license for TEDx Mandurah, which you just had your 2022 event last weekend before, just before so that's going to be the plan for the first year, is letting people know that we're here and we can help, and Jackie's going to continue going out into the different types of groups, from schools to community organisations and networking groups, and you co-host one of the main networking groups, the Peel.
The Peel Chamber Breakfast,
Yeah, so going out and just letting people know that we're here and we can help, and then, as you know, the contract is changing quite a bit from what it has been. So it has been more of a focus on giving people advice, which we'll still be doing, but it's more about, now with the new contract post July, it's more about going out and talking to people about the opportunity of starting their own business and what that actually means. So that's what Jackie's been focusing on already, really, and will continue to focus on, is getting out into the community more and talking to all kinds of different kinds of people about different age groups, etc., as to what starting a business can mean and if it's going to suit them.
Cool.
If I looked back over the first year and I went, okay, cool, yes, we've achieved what I would love to achieve, is, I guess, one of the things we've got going on in Mandurah is there's lots of different pieces, and I'm sure you would have found the same, Kynan. You've got these guys doing business local, these guys are doing the SEA, these guys are doing these guys, so there's all these pieces. And up until the change, there's been, I mean, it's a reasonably small audience. I mean, Mandurah is one of the smaller delivery areas. And for reasons I will never understand, and it could be because I think businesses are in that competition mindset. We seem to be delivering the same things to the same audience, which to me makes no sense. We've got 3 different groups in 1 month period, all delivering workshops on how to get on LinkedIn. I mean, that seems madness to me. So if I if I had achieved what I'd like to achieve.
I'm not going to comment on who did them first.
Of course not. But I think it's because we run these programs in isolation. And I think the way I read, and I could be wrong, Department of Dudes who could probably correct me from on high, no, that's not what we meant, but it seems to be that the rejiggy of the Entrepreneurship Facilitation Program is about creating a larger ecosystem where we can all sort of the best we can play together to service our business community better. Yep. So if we can get the business local program, and the more I've learned about that, I'm currently involved in that program, but the more now I understand what the SEA program is after an awesome conversation last night. I thought, okay, why are we delivering the same programs at a federal and a state level? They're nothing like each other.
And there was until the Entrepreneurship Service started, there was a local council one as well, which disappeared because these other ones were playing in the same space.
So you're spending federal money, state money and local money all on the same group, all trying to do the same thing. That makes no sense. Why don't we get a situation where we've got these guys are delivering this, which fits in with that, which fits in with this, so together we can all, okay, I know I've got rose-coloured glasses on and you're going to talk to me in a year's time and I'm going to go, oh my God. But dream state is, or blue sky state, is that we could deliver a more effective program or ecosystem when we take the strengths of each of these programs and start to work together to solve some of these problems. And I think would be the best outcome for me. And I love talking to people, so I can just spend the next year just talking to people. Excellent. Tick.
Cool.
All right, next question. Where are you going to be located?
So we are moving to Make Places Closing, as I think most people are aware, but we are moving across to the Watso space, which is the old Sally Museum, just on Ormsby Terrace there. Which is cool. Very almost ready. So we'll have an office in there. It's also got all of the setup and everything we need. It's got a broadcasting room, which is even more awesome.
Brilliant.
So we've got, I'm so excited. But we've got meeting spaces and we've got an office across there. So we'll be based there. But the intention is not to be sitting in my office and having people come to me. That's not how I see this program working. And I think that I get my butt kicked if Liz found me sitting in my office for days on end. So there's so many people to meet with and there's so many people to get involved with. And what I would like to do is use the space as a base. We're going to be running, obviously, forums where people can come together, where we can get people who are interested in businesses to talk to people who have got businesses. So we can group people broadly into hospitalities, into this, into that, start those conversations, because there's gaps in the market where you've got this and this. And it creates an opportunity for somebody who's interested in that space to maybe run a new business here. So as we start to have those conversations, both at Watso and also in people's environments, I think those are going to naturally come out. We spoke to. But the nice thing about Watso is we have a permanent receptionist. So if I'm not there, you're not just going to meet a blank wall. Georgia will be able to say, she's not here, but this is how we can get hold of it. So that should all come together.
Cool, because that's exactly what my next question was what is the best way for people to get in contact with you?
So probably the easiest way for emailing is just to email mandurah@bosscentre.com.au, which is Jackie's email address, and also the website bosscentre.com.au. I'm rebuilding it at the moment, so that at the moment it's reflecting what we're doing until the end of June, and obviously that's going to go completely change from the 1st of July. So I'm rebuilding the website at the moment with the new details, but it'll be the same domain name, so it'll still be bosscentre.com.au.
Yeah, you know those skills about sticking to your own corner? Notice Liz is rebuilding the website, not me. Yeah.
In my spare time.
In your spare time. Yeah, so I mean, I'll be there, I'll be around, I'll be breakfast. So it's one of those things is if you trip over me, I'm not difficult to find. I'm usually the noisy person in the corner with most functions. So just have a conversation, have got this idea or what have you got coming up. The great thing is we've always got something coming up. So there's things to invite people to. We're running a workshop on this, we've got a forum on that, or have you heard about this? And that's the centre point. So finding it shouldn't be too much of an issue. Getting involved in something we're doing should also not be tricky. But exactly the same as you were running at Kynan. if there's something that people need to happen, it's just a case of letting us know, because we've got the flexibility to create things which are useful, rather than having to deliver a specific, detailed, program which has been decided by someone in Canberra. This is what Mandurah needs. That's not what this is about. This is about Mandurah working out what Mandurah needs, and then us facilitating those spaces and those conversations. So can't wait. It's going to be super awesome.
Look, it's got me excited about it as well. So
Yeah,
really looking forward to seeing you around, and I'm sure we're going to bump into each other in that Mandurah entrepreneurial community. Going to be great to have you guys on board.
Well,
cool.
Thanks ever so much, Kynan, and thanks for the opportunity to say hi to your current clients as well, and just to for inviting us to do this. It's been very kind of you, and we appreciate it.
No problem
at all. You've left us a great legacy, Kynan. You've left us a great legacy, so we'll always appreciate that as well.
Cool, much appreciated. Okay, thanks, guys.
See ya.